frustrated sometimes because you meet all these people, but it never gets old when I see somebody like this that is really what I consider to be an icon of science fiction. Now, before I bring him up here, I want to say a little something to you guys, for the guys that have the cameras out. Leonard asked if you could, and I agree that this is, for this presentation, because he's about to give us a really cool presentation here. If you could just take your pictures for like the first 30 seconds or so, and then I'm going to call it. I'm going to say, okay, that's enough, and then put the cameras away. Okay, so you can use your flash, you can take your pictures, but we're only going to do it for like 30 seconds, and I'm timing you. Okay, seriously.
Good thing like this.
I was told nothing about video, so I'm assuming that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll get slapped by Leonard if that's not okay. But seriously, it's such a thrill to have this man here. This is a gentleman that was once referred to by Gene Roddenberry as the conscience of Star Trek. I can think of no better way to describe him. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an extreme honor for me to introduce to you Leonard Nimoy.
Thank you. I don't slap people, I pinch them. They're in danger.
All right, get it out of your system.
And everyone would be doing this the whole time if we didn't ask.
That's so cool.
Y'all can sit down so the people in the back see the shot. Sit down so the people in the back see the shot. Thank you. And put him away. Thank you, guys.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Somebody in this room wants to know, are you going back to Fringe? No plans at the moment. Somebody wants to know. Wait, I'm getting it ready. What did I think of Anna Torv's imitation of me? Excellent. She really was excellent. Wait. So many questions. Somebody wants to know, is it true that I'm doing a voice in the Transformers movie? Yes. Voice of Sentinel Prime. Somebody wants to know about the next Star Trek movie. Yeah, there you go. I understand they will begin filming later this year. That's all I know at the moment. This is a tough one. Here it comes. Somebody wants to know, is it true that William Shatner tried to drown me? I don't know. I know he threw me in the water when we were making Star Trek 4. And I was wearing a terry cloth robe, which quickly collected about 30 pounds of water. I sank to the bottom of the tank. I didn't see Bill Shatner come down to help me. I had to get that robe off before I could swim back to the top. Are you okay? She seemed kind of disappointed. So I don't know. You trying to drown me? I don't know. You threw me in the water. I don't know. My parents came to the United States as immigrants. They came as aliens and they became citizens. I was born in Boston, a citizen. I went to Hollywood, I became an alien. And to show you some, well, first let me, look, I'm going to tell you stories. Some of you may have heard some of these. None of you have heard all of these. And I'm going to show you some pictures, probably many of which you haven't seen. So I hope you'll find this interesting. When the show went on the air, when Star Trek went on the air in 1966, I got a little laryngitis, as you can probably tell. I'm getting over a cold. 1966, the show went on the air. Can you give me a little more volume on this thing? Is that possible? Ah, thank you. That's better. Yeah. Wow, that's fast. Amazing. All right, I like that. Show went on the air, and I had not made any plans to shape my life in any way, because I had been acting in films and television for many years, 15 years, really, but never in a character that had this kind of impact on the audience. And I had no idea what that impact was going to be like, or how it would affect my life or the life of my family. And suddenly, I found there were people parked outside the studio gates waiting for me to drive out and following me home. And the next thing I knew, they're tearing off leaves off the shrubbery on my property. How they going to prove where they got that? You sure this is from Leonard Nimoy? Yes, it is. I tore it off myself. And the spot was a big hit. I had to be ushered in and out of restaurants, in and out of theaters, secret passages, secret entryways, and so forth. It was exciting, but it was a little nerve-wracking. So when I got offered an invitation to go to speak at a college in Billings, Montana, I decided that I would go because it would probably be very nice and quiet there. I like talking to students, I really do. So I thought this is a good getaway for me. This is what I'm going to do. So I flew to Billings, and I was picked up at the airport and taken to a local motel where they checked me in. And I hadn't been in the room in more than 3 or 4 minutes, and the phone rang. I thought, that's really strange. Who could be calling me? And I picked up the phone and said hello. And a young female voice started screaming. All kinds of strange noises coming out of her. Is that you? Oh, I'm glad I got you on the phone. This is unbelievable. Oh. I said, who are you? She said, my name is Mary. I said, where are you calling me from? Denver. Denver? How did you find me? She said, well, I heard you were speaking at Billings, and I called all the hotels and motels. There's only 3. So I said, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your interest and your support. Keep watching Star Trek. Live long and prosper. Goodbye. And I hung up. I finished unpacking. 2 or 3 minutes go by, and the phone rings again. I pick it up. I say, hello. And another female voice. Oh, my God. I can't believe I got him on the phone. I got him on the phone. Who are you? Sally. Sally, where are you calling me from? St. Louis. Sally, how did you find me? My friend Mary called me from Denver. Unbelievable. This is the front of the building where I grew up. The lady on the left is my grandmother. And the lady on the right was a neighbor that lived downstairs. We lived on the 3rd floor. This was in Boston, tenement neighborhood. The neighborhood was torn down in the mid-50s, an urban renewal project. That's my grandma, who came from Russia around the turn of the century. And this was my gang. You have to have a white shirt to be in this gang. That's me on the left. Good bunch of people. Some of them gone, some still around, some I'm still in touch with. Good bunch of people. We were very active in a settlement house called the Elizabeth Peabody House in Boston. And I was lucky to grow up in Boston. It was a very interesting city, a lot of academia, a lot of theaters, a lot of arts, museums, concert halls, and so forth. So I was exposed to a lot of that when I was a kid, which was very good for me. And when I was about 8 years old, I started hanging out at this place after school and on weekends. Peabody House had a sports program, and they had a science program. They had classes. The building was designed to serve the immigrants in the neighborhood. The neighborhood was all immigrant people, or a turn of the century, and they had classes in how to sew, how to cook, how to keep a sanitary kitchen, how to do your laundry properly. Classes in English, because a lot of the people didn't speak English. They spoke a lot of Italian, a lot of Jewish people, and they also had a beautiful theater. And I started acting in that theater when I was about 8 years old, doing children's plays, and I continued to do that until when I was about 17. I was cast in a play with some very good actors, not professional. We weren't paid. It was still amateur work, but it was a very interesting and rather important play called Awake and Sing. This play had been performed on Broadway a few years earlier, and it was about a family very much like my own. It was about a Jewish family in the Bronx in New York, with 3 generations living in an apartment together, the grandparents, parents, and children. And that's the way I lived with my grandparents and my parents and my brother and I. 6 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment, 3 generations. And what was exciting for me was the first time I was doing an adult play. It was no longer children's theater, it was an adult play. And I was playing the juvenile, the 17-year-old kid in his family, and I was 17 at the time, almost 18. So I really identified with his character. This kid in his family was trying to figure out how to live his life, what his life is supposed to be about. How do you find the right job for yourself? How do you find the right girl for yourself? How do you find out who you're supposed to be in the world? And the pressures from parents and all that kind of stuff that kids go through at that age. And I was going through it. And I thought, wow, this is really, it's about me, it's about people. It's about real flesh and blood people. And if I could do this kind of work, and it'll help to illuminate people's lives for an audience, this would be a great way to spend your life. It would be a blessing if I could do this and make a living at it. So that's when I decided to be an actor. So I went home and I said to my folks, guess what? This is what I want to do with my life. Well, my parents were Russian immigrants. They didn't leave Russia and in danger of their lives and come to the United States for their kid to become an actor. Their hope was, I have a brother who's 4.5 years older than me. He had a wonderful career as a chemical engineer. And he was really, his brain works different than mine. He's a scientist. He's a real scientist. He had a wonderful career in science. I wasn't interested in doing that. Believe me. Don't believe anything about Spock in me, because that wasn't really me. Anyway, they thought that our lives should be about getting a proper education and being able to make a secure living, be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, any of the sciences, a dentist, a pharmacist, a teacher, anything that would be a secure profession. I want to be an actor. So my dad said, he was a sweet, hard-working man who was a barber all his life. Not a stylist, didn't have a hair salon, he was a barber. He cut hair, that's what he did. He cut hair for about 65 years of his life. And he was very unsophisticated. And he said to me, what did I do? Did I just punch a button?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm getting ahead of myself. You are getting a computer? Back up. Back up. Unbelievable. We can't control the technology. We can't control it. It's taking over our lives.